Hi, I'm James Warren from OA Systems, and today we're going to have a look at some of the changes that have come along and the features and functionality that are available in the Sales app with the Dynamics 365 April 2019 update. So as you can see, there's a bit of a change in the user interface. If you've been using the web interface, this will be quite a significant change, and if you've been using the unified interface, you'll notice that on the left-hand side, the menu structure has been altered, I believe in a very good way, based on my experience of use. And also you can see that we have the preview AI functionality set up in the system, which is being shown in the relationship assistant. And the relationship assistant, as usual, is pushing in some notifications about opportunities that are coming up to close within the next 30 days or those sorts of things. So we're going to go have a look at the menu down the left-hand side. And what you can see here is the home and pinned have now moved over here. And obviously, if we go in and pin that record and then go down here, you'll be able to find it. So it is in two separate places. That is a little bit different. But what you've got here is the ability to go through the menu and also have that menu broken up into different areas of the system. So what you can see here is that ability to shift between the different parts of the app in Dynamics used to be up the top here, and also the menu is maximized by default as opposed to the minimization which used to happen by default in the old UI, and you'll notice that color changes also happen there. I think that used to be black down the left hand side. So we found this quite a nice change. It has made the navigation around the system just a little bit more user-friendly and slightly less jarring than the way it was. So I've just switched over into the Sales Hub part of the system, which is specifically the app focused around sales. And you'll see here, if you come down to the navigation at the bottom, rather than having the list of sales, customer service, marketing, and IoT as we had before, this now only has the specific area around sales and the sales app settings. So the reason that this is important is because the Playbook templates and categories and some of the sales intelligence functionality wasn't accessible in the other layout. And there are a few interesting new things that have been added to accounts. One of them is if we go into the first account here, you'll see in notes we've got the intelligence turned on. So when the timeline loads, if we go and say meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m., this will actually suggest that we add this into the system as a meeting. So you'll see here you can go create and edit. That's going to pop open with as much detail as it can possibly guess based on what you've mentioned there. And then you obviously go in and fill those other details in and add that to the record. Okay, the other thing we can also see in the navigation bar that's been added is the Teams collaboration. At the end, I'll add a little note that'll take you to a video that runs through some information about how the Teams collaboration works, but if you want to get more detail, please reach out and ask us about that. And at this stage, that's the main things we're looking at on the account form. You'll see here on the Relationship Assistant, we do have this opportunity coming up for close soon. So as you can see on the opportunity, we've got a few things going on here. One of the first things you might be able to notice is the fact that we've got multiple tasks here which are listed as decision maker departure. And I'm going to run through how you can work with Playbooks and get that to work for you. The other thing that's showing up that would be different is something that's showing the next interaction you've got with this organization and the last interaction that was completed. Also in the background, the system is going through and trying to identify relationship health. What this is running off is the relationship analytics, and we are a little light because it is using sample data on the number of activities that have been completed, but you can see what Microsoft are doing here is they're providing a dashboard where it's calculating the relationship health, that's driven off information such as the interactions, emails, meetings, phone calls, the time spent working on this account, whether the emails that we've sent have been opened and the attachments have been viewed, the response rate by them and by us. Response time, obviously, you can run through this all yourself and see that information, but that all comes together and then calculates on a daily basis the relationship health to tell you whether there are any issues with the way the organization is engaging based on past experience or some metrics that are set up in the system. So that is an incredibly useful new piece of functionality. The system being proactive and actually informing people about what's going on with the client rather than having to go through and set up a series of rules. So what I'm going to do now is just jump out of this opportunity and go into another one where I believe we haven't run the playbook for a departing decision maker. So playbooks have been set up in the system to be able to define a series of tasks based on a trigger. This is very similar to a workflow, but it is actually something that is designed for team members or managers to be able to build themselves rather than the complexity of a workflow, which some people might not be comfortable with. And it can be triggered either automatically or manually. In this case, I'm going to trigger it manually, but you'll see if you can identify something such as the primary contact on an account has changed, that could trigger this exact playbook. So you'll see I've gone in here and we've got this button, Launch Playbook. And what happens there is essentially it'll come and say, which of the playbooks are we trying to launch? When you launch that, it is going to go away and create a series of activities. Those activities can be tasks, phone calls, appointments, and you can also attach documents with further information to that. So you'll see it's automatically dropped in here 3 new activities. And what we've got is an appointment. And if you have a look at these dates as I went through and put them in, these first 2 are basically going to say deliver them right now. This next one here is actually going to say we want this meeting several days out from the time you trigger the playbook. And as you can see here, that appointment is now tentatively scheduled for the 1st of May. Depending on how your playbooks are set up, mine are set up so that we can track them against the accounts that they're related to. If you want to track against playbooks being completed, you can also go and do some analytics around how quickly they were closed and completed. So at this stage, that's really the main new functionality in the sales app that I wanted to run through. There are a few other things that will become available as the sales AI functionality is rolled out around the world. It is only new, and you'll see there's a few things here like opportunity score data is not available. Now, the interesting thing about scoring opportunities and leads is it does require a reasonable level of history of engagement to be able to do analytics across what looks like a good engagement versus a bad engagement in your organization. So there are thresholds such as 400 opportunities being won and more opportunities being lost before it can start being predictive. But the more information you put in there, the more the system is able to generate that artificial intelligence and guidance to end users. So hopefully that's been a good look at some new functionality around the sales app, things like playbooks, the AI, and that understanding of the predictive analysis that's coming to the product. I'll keep going through these kinds of videos, so keep an eye out for other ones in the series. And if you do need any information, please do reach out to us at OA Systems.